Hello friends, pro-life leader Frank Pavone here, bringing you my daily diary broadcast. I think it's an important aspect in accountability. You should know what the leaders that you follow and support are doing each day with their time, energy, and resources. So what did I do from Sunday, April 14th through Thursday, April 18th of 2024? Let's go through the days. Sunday the 14th, I was here at my office. It was the Lord's Day, so obviously there's always time on the Lord's Day for extra worship, or obviously worship, time of extra prayer, a little bit of rest, but also there's always work involved here in the orbit that I'm in, and so I had to tape some segments here in the studio. I had to do a lot of desk work, organizing work for the coming week, especially in the midst of a busy travel schedule, as you'll hear, and getting ready with communications for staff and for pro-life leaders and for leadership meetings that we are planning for the week. At 10 a.m., I came in here and did the live scripture broadcast at 10 a.m. For the daily scripture reflections and time of prayer. At my desk, some of the topics I had to deal with, sharing opinion pieces that I had written. Right Side Broadcasting, Praying for America shows, media interviews being planned, trip plans being put together, database records for our media department. You know, sometimes I get contacted directly, sometimes to our communications director. So when I get contacted directly, I need to make sure that this information about the media outlet and the interview is given to our communications director. Individual meetings with pro-life leaders, setting those up and following up on those, booking for Alveda King, some requests that I was in communication with people about, and also ordering books that I need to read. It was a day when I also was able to do some writing and some reflecting, and like I say, just preparing for the week. It's good to have that uninterrupted time to plow through things, and I did that the rest of Sunday the 14th right here at my office. Monday the 15th, up early, some work at my desk involving an article about President Trump and abortion. The book I'm working on with Alveda King, Abortion in Black and White. Communication with our media firm, data about Congress and the members of Congress. We keep in communication with them, of course. Interviews with media outlets coming up. Approvals of emails going out. And inviting pro-life leaders for the forum, the meeting of pro-life leaders that we have regularly. At 10 a.m., I had a visit from a local candidate for office seeking some input and advice, and so I sat and met with them for about 40 minutes. I had more work at my desk, checking in with staff. Of course, we had our morning staff briefing at 8:30. I had an 11:30 meeting with a couple of staff people, and then we came in here and we did a broadcast. So you can see that on our broadcast. Mary and Elizabeth, two of our female employees who are very enthusiastic, energetic, and happy working here. So we did an interview with them about their work. Mary dealing with correspondence, Elizabeth dealing with donations. Had some lunch, more work at my desk on the kind of topics I mentioned here, and then at 3:30 a meeting with our social media coordinator, and then left the office at 4:30 to go to the airport. In the car on the way to the airport, I had a phone call with a pro-life physician in the area who is very active in the community. We had to talk about a number of upcoming things. Got to the airport, and then I had a 5:30 call with John Yep from Catholics for Catholics, and that was an important strategic call with him and someone else as well. And we did that. The call took quite a while, and then I checked in for the flight. Took off at about 7:30 and flew out to Dallas. Landed there. It was a little bit of time of rest on the plane. I also did some reading, landed there in Dallas, and settled into my hotel, which was over in Fort Worth. Then the next morning, Tuesday, the 16th, okay, busy day in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Started off at the hotel with some early morning work, plans for the upcoming meeting of pro-life leaders, our studio procedure, working on with our team upgrades to that, transition of our political coordinator who is going to be working in Michigan as a state director, plans for the California March for Life coming up, Trump rally, plans for that, the invitations coming in for trips, preparations for social media for the Florida pro-abortion ballot initiative, of course opposing that, revisions to the prayer booklet in the palm of his hands, which I'm sure many of you use, and then helping answer a question from the public about late-term abortion. Those were some of the things I dealt with at my desk, but then I had to go early. Let me see here. I have the schedule for that day. That's just Tuesday the 16th. Went into Dallas, had an appointment in the morning at 10 a.m. with one of our Priests for Life consultants who is there in Dallas. And then that meeting went until 11:30. Then an Uber picked me up and I went over to the home of a local pro-life conservative activist in Dallas, and we had a nice lunch meeting with several guests, including Bishop Strickland. So he came by and we did a nice discussion, conversation, strategizing, and enjoying lunch together. I was there from noon until 3. And then at 3, I was picked up there and taken over to Fort Worth, settled in back into my hotel for a couple of minutes, and then went across the street for an event organized by the America First Policy Institute, AFPI. Hooked up with lots of friends there, colleagues, associates, people I'd have known, people that worked in the Trump administration, cabinet officials, other political operatives, policy people. And Dr. Alveda King was there, so she and I sat together for the dinner that was then held, and a number of speeches that were held. And then from there, we went over to the home of the president of the AFPI, Brooke Rollins, who worked as President Trump's domestic policy director. And we were at her home for a large reception, and that went a couple of speeches there as well. All of that was very, very nice. And then was there pretty late and saw Babu Nanwe, also of Goya Foods. He's a big pro-life advocate and friend, and so spent some time talking with him. And then went to bed at the end of the evening. The 17th of April, Wednesday, I had an early departure from the Dallas-Fort Worth airport and went back to Orlando. So flying back to Florida, did a lot of work there at the airport and on the flight. Some of the things I had to deal with, communications with our media firm, preparations for our May pastoral team meeting, approval of monthly statements going out to our monthly donors, committees of the pro-life leaders that are working on various aspects of the elections and also opposing these pro-abortion ballot initiatives, interviews with pro-life leaders in the international arena, monthly statements, I think I mentioned that, forum preparation, that's the regular meeting of pro-life leaders, getting ready a rally spot for Right Side Broadcasting Network the next time they have a Trump rally, and also interacting with staff to help prepare data for mailings to bishops and donors. All of this work done on the plane, in the car back from the airport, got to my office late morning and started connecting with staff right away, our social media staff, our video staff, getting updates from them, giving input to them, making sure everything is moving along. We're working on special social media content to fight against this Florida ballot initiative, studying also information in regard to that initiative, and came in here to tape a spot as well as a program for Praying for America. Also was working on some writing, expanding on an article I'm writing about support for President Trump in the midst of the controversy over abortion. Called a reporter and spoke with him about some questions he had. Prepared a press release about our poll that we did, National Survey on Abortion and the Elections. At 4 p.m. had a meeting with our social media and video production team to talk about a number of things in regard to that. Got end of day updates from the staff at 6 p.m. Had a call from Mark from our administrative team, worked out some things with him, got an update, had some dinner, and went to bed. And finally, Thursday the 18th of April, I was up early, did some work at my desk, did some tapings, and participated in the staff briefing at 8:30. But had to leave that briefing a little bit early in order to get ready for a podcast interview that I was being interviewed for their podcast, Erica Reddick, and that went from 9 a.m. until about 10 a.m., or a little after 10. Right after that, Janet, our executive director, came into the studio here, and we taped some programming together, coming up some things for the Heartbeat International Conference, actually, some spots. Then I had various work at my desk, including this Heartbeat conference that I'm going to be at to represent Priests for Life, other invitations for trips, approval of emails going out, the lawsuit in Michigan against their pro-abortion law, and I'm studying that. Our constitutional attorney here at Priests for Life, our special counsel, introduced that lawsuit. Working with the staff on some book orders that have to be placed, some media contacts that have to be made, planning for the pro-life leadership meeting, writing a foreword to a pro-life book, scheduling some broadcasts, and looking at the broadcast schedule for the coming week. EndAbortionFlorida.us, updating that webpage for information to fight against this ballot initiative, and finally some more work on articles regarding President Trump and our support for him. Then at noon, I was back here in the studio doing an interview with a pro-life leader from Peru and talking about the Day of the Unborn Child that they observed and some great pro-life progress that they have made in laws in their country. Had some lunch after that, various interaction with staff, work on some of the things I just mentioned, getting ready also for my trip. At 3 o'clock, we had a Zoom meeting with pro-life leaders. And Janet ran the meeting. I was on it also to help run it. And the leaders were national leaders as well as state leaders. And we were strategizing about stopping these pro-abortion ballot initiatives. So I was on that meeting for about 45 to 50 minutes. Then I had to come back here in the studio to interview a young lady at 4 p.m. by the name of Bunny Pounds, and she has started a group called Christians Engaged and written a book called Jesus and Politics. So we did a half-hour interview with her for one of my programs, and then promptly at 4:30 I was picked up to go again to the airport, Orlando Airport, because I had a trip to New York. Did some phone calls on the way and various work on my laptop, both in the car and at the gate and on the plane. And flew at 7:30 up to White Plains, New York, landed at about 10:30, and went to my mom's home and got a good night's sleep. There it is, the 14th to the 18th of April, 2024. I hope your days are blessed, fruitful, safe and happy, and productive in the work of the pro-life cause. Talk to you soon.